Igbo, I think I would say, is a little bit more torturous than Yoruba, but nothing compares with the musicality of Yoruba. Yoruba sings, and some people are tone deaf. It's not their fault.
One of the major difficulties when independence comes to Nigeria will be the rivalry between the western and the eastern regions.
They said Igbo is torturous. Then God spoke it in the Vatican.
Word of God, who became man for us, support those who in this holy year have asked for mercy and forgiveness, so that they be sustained on their journey through life. And now the liturgy of the Eucharist will commence with the entrance procession, representatives of various nations and bringing the gifts, presenting the gifts.
There is a language that has crossed many oceans, a language that has carried enslaved people through the belly of the ships, and still came out singing on the other side. A language so layered, so tonal, so mathematically precise that it took one of Africa's literary titans to dare call it torturous. Professor Wole Soyinka, a Nobel Laureate, the greatest living African writer, said what about Igbo? Let us be clear about something from the very beginning. Professor Wole Soyinka is not a small man. He is not an ordinary man. He is the first African writer to win the Nobel Prize in Literature. He has been imprisoned, exiled, threatened, and through all of it, he wrote beautifully, fiercely, defiantly. We are not here to tear him down, but when a man of his stature makes a statement about a people's language, a language tied to their identity, their ancestry, their soul, that statement lands differently. It does not land as an opinion. It lands as a verdict.
Yoruba is a very difficult language. It's tonal.
Yeah.
I wouldn't recommend it for my favorite scholar at all. Hausa is looser, for instance. I studied linguistics and things like that. Hausa is looser than Yoruba. Igbo, I think I would say, is a little bit more torturous than Yoruba. But nothing compares with the musicality of Yoruba. Yoruba sings, and some people are tone deaf. It's not their fault.
What can I do?
He said it, you heard it, and the internet did what the internet does very well. Within hours, the Igbo community had something to say. Within days, it had become the most charged cultural conversation Nigeria has had in years. But here is the question no one is truly asking. Is the debate about a language, or is it about something much older? Nigeria is a country of over 200 million people. It holds within it over 500 languages, but none carry the weight of the Igbo and Yoruba languages. Those are the two civilizations, not just two tribes, two civilizations. The Yoruba gave the world the Ifa oracle, a system of divination so sophisticated that UNESCO declared it an intangible cultural heritage of humanity. The Igbo gave the world the Ibuku bronzes, artifacts from the 9th century that rewrote what historians thought they knew about African mythology. Both people built empires before colonizers arrived with maps and the arrogance to call this land discovered. And yet, they were forced into one country, forced to compete for power, for resources, for recognition. And the wounds of that competition, the Civil War, the Biafra tragedy, the decades of political marginalization, those wounds have never truly healed. So, when Professor Wole Soyinka speaks about Igbo, he does not speak into a vacuum. He speaks into 60 years of unresolved tension, and the Igbo people heard it that way. Can you blame them? Now, let us actually think about what Soyinka said. The Igbo language is tonal. It has 3 distinct tones: high, low, and mid. And the same word can mean something different completely depending on which tone you use. Aqua can mean cloth. Aqua can mean egg. Aqua can mean cry. Aqua can mean bed. 4 different meanings, 1 word, 0 room for error. For someone learning the language as an outsider, even a brilliant outsider, even a Nobel Laureate, yes, it is demanding, it is complex, but here is what the Igbo people will tell you. Complexity is not a flaw, it is architecture. The tonal system of Igbo is not a mistake of evolution. It is precision instrument built over millennia to carry meaning, nuance, and poetry that simpler phonetic systems simply cannot hold. Yoruba, let us be clear, it is also tonal, and Soyinka knows this because he has written in Yoruba, he has celebrated Yoruba. So the question, the uncomfortable question becomes, is Torturous a linguistic critique, or is it something also wearing the mask of linguistics? How do you describe 2 tonal languages, one as torturous and then the other as musical? And then there is Professor Chinua Achebe, the man who wrote Things Fall Apart, the novel that has sold over 20 million copies, the book that has been translated into 57 languages, the story that made the entire world look at Africa and listen. Achebe and Soyinka were contemporaries, 2 literary giants of the same generation. They disagreed, sometimes sharply, on politics, on literature, on Nigeria. But on one thing, Achebe was absolute. The Igbo language is not a burden, it is a gift.
Igbo. Ọ bụ onye ka anyị na-achọ? Ọ bụ onye ka anyị na-achọ? Oke Igbo ka anyị na-achọ nzomalizo. O jelu nkụ ya na-ata, o chuli iyi ya na-ata, o jelu afịa ya na-ata. Oke Igbo ka anyị na-achọ nzomalizo. Ọ bụ onye ka anyị na-achọ? Ọ bụ onye ka anyị na-achọ? Oke Igbo ka anyị na-achọ nzomalizo. O jebe nkụ ugbo ka ilini ya, o chube mmiri iyi ilini ya, o jebe afịa ụzụ afịa sọọlị ya, o jebe ahịa ọgbọnụ ka biko chaali ya. Oke Igbo ka anyị na-achọ nzomalizo. Ezite egwu onye ga-agbala anyị, eseta ọgụ onye ga-agbala anyị. Onye a na-akpọ nwere ife ọ na-eme, Oke Igbo ka m na-akpọ nzomalizo. ngwa na egwu ka ọ na-abịa ifugo na agha awa ọgụ egwu choo dike na ọgụ chaa ifrozi na onye a na-akpọ nwere ife ọ na-eme Okigbo ka anyị na-akpọ nzomalizo egwu ebe na mbelede mmọnwụ anyị ewelu mgbachi na mmiri ama dike ma ọkanga ọja na-aja n'mmụọ apịara udu na-edu ọba egwu aware okolo nne m okolo Igbo okolobịa na ụgbọ mme ọgaranya na be mmụọ Okigbo ka m na-achọ nzomalizo. Okay, a wake for Okigbo. For whom are we searching? For whom are we searching? For Okigbo we are searching. Nzomalizo. Has he gone for firewood? Let him return. Has he gone to fetch water? Let him return. Has he gone to the marketplace? Let him return. For Okigbo we are searching. Nzomalizo. For whom are we searching? For whom are we searching? For Okigbo we are searching. Nzomalizo. Has he gone for firewood? May Uboko not take him. Has he gone to the stream? May Iyi not swallow him. Has he gone to the market? Then keep from him, you tumult of the marketplace. Has he gone to battle? Please, Obonuke, step aside for him. For Okigbo we are searching. Nzomalizo. They bring home a dance. Who is to dance it for us? They bring home a war. Who will fight it for us? The one we call repeatedly, there is something he alone can do. It is Okigbo we are calling. Nzomalizo. Witness the dance, how it arrives, the war, how it has broken out. But the caller of the dance is nowhere to be found. The brave one in battle is nowhere in sight. Do you not see now that whom we call again and again, there is something he alone can do? It is Okigbo we are calling. Nzomalizo. The dance ends abruptly. The spirit dancers fold their dance and depart in midday. Rain soaks the stalwart, soaks the two-sided drum. The flute is broken that elevates the spirit. The music pot shattered that accompanies the leg in its measure. Brave one of my blood, brave one of Igbo land, brave one in the middle of so much blood, owner of riches in the dwelling place of spirit. Okigbo is the one for whom I'm searching. Nzomalizo.
Did you hear that? Did you hear the rhythm in it? The way the tones rise and fall like a conversation between the land and the sky? The way each syllable carries weight, intention, and spirit? That is not torturous. That is music written in the architecture of human breath. Achebe once wrote, "A man who does not know where the rain began to beat him cannot know where he dried his body." And the Igbo language, that language is where the rain began. It is where the memory lives, where the ancestors still speak. And now we arrive at the moment that silenced every argument. Vatican City, Rome, the most sacred Catholic space on earth. And then Igbo again.
Word of God, who became man for us, support those who in this holy year have asked for mercy and forgiveness, so that they be sustained on their journey through life.
na njem nke ndụ.
And now the liturgy of the Eucharist will commence with the entrance procession, representatives of various nations and bringing the gifts, presenting the gifts.
A full Holy Mass conducted in Igbo in the Vatican. The prayers of the faithful spoken in the same tongue that Igbo grandmothers use to call their children home for dinner. The Eucharistic prayer, the most sacred words in all of the Catholic liturgy, offered to God in a language that someone, somewhere, once called Torturous. Language is not just communication. Language is prayer. Language is the shape that love takes when it moves from the heart of the lips. And if a language is holy enough for the Vatican, the seat of the world's oldest institutions, then what exactly are we arguing about? Here is what nobody wants to say out loud. This debate is not really about Igbo. It is about whose story gets to be told. It is about whose culture gets to be celebrated without having to defend itself. The Igbo have been told their language is dying, and yet it is spoken by over 45 million people worldwide. They have been told their culture is provincial, and yet Igbo traders built commercial networks across West Africa centuries before colonization. They have been told to assimilate, to code switch, to be quieter, and instead they taught their children the Igbo language.
Doris Chineye. I'm a role in a Nigeria Customs Service PRO units.
Jokwano ndị Igbo mana egenti Afiambo Nwada Obeyalo Amarachi Janet ana m arụ na accounting office Jokwano wo
ụtụtụ ọma ndị bay aha m bụ Chilotam ana m arụ na PRO.
If you live in Houston, you are just in America with a touch of Igbo village vibe. What's going on? This is Mystical Rose Group, Igbo Catholic Community, Houston. Like, this is the biggest Catholic church here in Houston. Guess what? It's actually Igbo church. What's going on? If you come here on Sunday, you would think you are St. Charles Nwanga Okpoko Onitsha. You would think you are St. Charles Nwanga Okpoko in Onitsha. What's going on? Come, let me show you something. Let me show you something. Bro, if I told you this is Houston, you will never believe. This is the biggest Catholic church here in Houston, and it's actually Igbo Catholic Church. Igbo Catholic Church. If you come here on Sunday, you think you are St. Wanga Okpoko. Here they have school where they teach Igbo languages. In case you say, I don't know what to do with my children, you know, my children don't know how to speak Igbo. Bring them here, they have school. They have daycare, they have Igbo studies, they have everything. What's going on? Let's show them this thing. The Igbo elite in Houston came together to do what? To form a community. This is not just a church, but a community of love. Look at the people that join hands together to do this thing. Family of Isioche, Ken and Angela Chinweze, what's going on? Thank you. Thank you, Odogunwa. Thank you for doing this thing. The Ekweme family by Sir Felix and Lady Ude.
They have built churches, schools, and community centers on foreign soil. They have refused to let the language die in their mouths. And every mother who whispered Igbo lullabies to their children in London, every father who insisted on Igbo names even when the registry clerk mispronounced them, every grandmother who told her grandchildren, "You must speak our language, it is who we are," every single one of them answered Soyinka without ever saying a word. We began with a statement from one of Africa's greatest minds. We end not with anger, not with a verdict, but with a question for you to carry. What does it mean to love a language? It means to speak it even when the world asks you to stop. It means to sing it at your child's naming ceremony, even in a hospital in Manchester or in Atlanta. It means to offer it to God in the shadow of St. Peter's Basilica and believe without a doubt that God, who made every tongue and every people, smiled and understood every word. The Igbo people will say, "Onye wetara oji, wetara ndụ." The one who brings kola brings life. Today, the Igbo language, tones and all, complexities and all, brings life. And that is enough. In fact, that has always been enough.